Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. Also brought to you in part by Performance Livestock Analytics, helping Ohio cattle producers run more efficient cattle operations with real-time data on feed, health, and performance, all in one easy-to-use app. The MAHA Commission report did come out yesterday. Here's comments from the industry. The American Soybean Association soybean farmers are thankful that the MAHA Commission recognized EPA's approval process as the global gold standard. Between the May report and yesterday's strategy, the Commission was accessible and open to learning more about modern farming practices, said Caleb Ragland, ASA president. National Milk Producers Federation says the MAHA Commission's Make Our Children Healthy Again strategy recognizes what the latest science indicates and what we've long been saying, and that's getting whole milk back into schools and boosting dairy in diets helps meet America's nutritional needs, and that is critical to improving health of our nation's children. That, according to Greg Dodd, National Milk Producers Federation President and CEO. The American Farm Bureau Federation says the Commission's willingness to meet with farmers and hear our concerns. Those of us involved in the food system look forward to working with the Commission and policymakers to ensure a full understanding of the recommendations and their impact on the food supply chain. And that's Zippy Duvall, AFBF president. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Sunny and dry. That's our Ohio forecast once again. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at the forecast update. No major changes here overall. We're putting together a very nice setup here for early harvest. Now, if you wanted a finishing rain, we don't have a nice forecast for you, but we're dry and warm through the rest of this week. Temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal in all areas of Ohio. Humidity stays down here to start, but I think by the time we get into Friday and Saturday, it's going to be a little more muggy. Watching a little weather system try and come out of the upper Midwest, a late week and into the weekend. We've been talking about this. It is, as we were anticipating, starting to fall apart a little bit. I'm not going to say the moisture's gone completely yet, but definitely seeing far fewer areas of precipitation for Sunday. Maybe a few hit-and-miss scattered showers in western Ohio, but that is it. We're back to warm weather as we move through the finish of that Sunday night period and on through next week. Warm and dry. I don't think we see any significant threat of moisture until the weekend of the 20th and 21st. And even there, it's going to be spotty. Bigger front trying to come together for the week of the 22nd. That's the way your forecast is stacking up. As we said, no changes. Just make sure you enjoy it as much as possible. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Let's check in with Joel Penorwood. He meets with a family using today's latest data in the beef industry.
For this story, we travel to Western Ohio to N. Seiferding Farms and Trucking to talk with Ben Seiferding about some new technology they're putting in place on the farm that's helping them in many ways. That technology, Performance Livestock Analytics.
Technology-wise, I mean, a lot of guys right away go to the auto steer, and I think our GPS auto steer technology comparative in the livestock would be the Performance Beef. We started using that a couple years ago. With the Performance Beef, it's pretty no nonsense. You put the ingredients in that it tells you to, you mix it, you put the pounds in the bunk that it tells you to put in the bunk. It's pretty stupid proof for the most part. Even besides just mix and feed, it tracks our cost for us. Kind of has your numbers right at your fingertips, and that's very valuable. The way we used to do it, we had the binder with the little chicken scratch sheets on it and the little batch cards for different size feed batches, and a couple bunks need more feed, a couple don't. You're trying to figure which batch was going to fit where. One guy leaves for the weekend, the next guy hops in to feed, and we were always on the phone. Well, how did you mix this batch? Now you just hit the iPad and do your thing.
Find the full video on the topic online at ohioagnet.com and more information at performancelivestockanalytics.com. I'm Joel Penorwood reporting.
And thanks, Joel. Couple notes on the calendar. Powered by Soy Biodiesel. I'll head to the Wyandotte County Fair on Thursday. We'll be there all thanks to Nature's Alpine Solutions. On Monday, setup day of the Farm Science Review. We'll broadcast from the Farm Science Review, all thanks to Holman Incorporated. And also, the Ohio Cattlemen's Association is hosting 6 free educational meetings covering topics like grazing management, reproduction, and herd health. Meetings include dinner and require registration. Visit Ohio, spell it out, ohiocattle.org for more information and registration. Well, even before the Trump administration releases the proposal to reallocate biofuels gallons away from the renewable fuel standard, a group of federal lawmakers from oil-producing states are trying to stop it before it happens. The new legislation introduced in the U.S. Senate on Tuesday would not allow the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to reallocate biofuels gallons waived from the renewable fuel standard. Near the end of August, the Environmental Protection Agency announced it had granted 63 full small refinery exemptions, 77 partial exemptions, and denied 28 other petitions. Jeff Cooper, president and CEO of the Renewable Fuel Association, said in a statement that refiners should be following the RFS law already. We shouldn't even be having a conversation about reallocation, he said. Reallocating exempted volumes wouldn't even be necessary if all refiners would simply follow the law and do their fair share. Refiners of all shapes and sizes have had 20 years to figure out how to comply with the RFS, and the small refinery exemption was always meant to be a temporary bridge to compliance. This bill simply rewards the bad behavior of a handful of small refiners who have steadfast refused to blend renewable fuels and are looking for yet another way to dodge their legal obligation to deliver lower cost, cleaner fuel to American drivers. Back with more after this.
Get ready for the 63rd Annual Farm Science Review, September 16th through the 18th near London, Ohio. Explore hundreds of exhibits, field demonstrations, and educational sessions. Get pre-sale discounted tickets at participating OSU Extension offices, agribusinesses, or online at fsr.osu.edu. Plan your trip with the digital directory and mobile app, and follow Farm Science Review on social media. Don't miss the 63rd Farm Science Review, September 16th through the 18th.
Biodiesel isn't just a fuel, it's a game changer for your engine, your wallet, and your farm. Cleaner burning and efficient, biodiesel enhances engine life, power, and fuel economy. Plus, it delivers real value, adding $1.33 to every bushel of soybeans grown. That's 13% more value per bushel, directly tied to the biofuels market. Ready to turn soybeans into power and drive with purpose? Learn how at soyohio.org.
Joining me is Jared Snell, Manager, Secretary, and Treasurer of the Wayne County Fair. Put all that behind it. Clydesdales are coming to the fair. When?
Starting today, they'll be here for public viewing over at the Buckeye Agricultural Museum right across the road. $4 to get in our gate here. We just walk right across the street. We've got some traffic signals there to help people get across the street to see those Clydesdales.
For a lot of people, the performance is watch them getting hooked up and just being close to them. But will they make any appearances around the grounds?
They will on Thursday. So tomorrow they'll be out here for a show in front of our grandstands at 4 o'clock, between 4 and 6. And they're also going to do a parade around the grounds as well right after that show.
That's pretty cool. And I'm sure there's places, if you're in the right place and they're coming by, you can shoot your selfie with the Clydesdales in the back.
There should be plenty of opportunities for selfies and other pictures for all that. Yep.
I talked with those folks one year down at the state fair, and it was interesting. At that point, there were 4 or 5 regional teams that went around. What's it like to try to get them to your fair? I mean, they were here how many years ago?
2008, so 17 years ago.
Wow, okay. And now you got your barn first put up, so
yep,
it was a perfect place for them. And they're actually transitioning between 2 other locations for here.
Yeah, so we are housing them over here at the Ag Museum, and public's encouraged to come see them even after our fair is over.
So that'll be until when?
They'll be here until next Monday.
Well, that'd be pretty cool for them to come out and see them over there. And, of course, they got to get them out and feed them and do all their regular care. So seeing that happen will be pretty cool.
It'll be really cool all week to see the kids' faces. And it's a big attraction. We're just happy to have it back here at Wayne County.
There you go. Back in Wayne County again. And are you already working on the next schedule? Because at that time, everybody's like, yeah, we'll have them back sometime. But it is a process to get them to be.
It's been a long process. And Doc Mayers and Justin over at Mansfield Distributing have been crucial for parts of that, getting them back here.
Just to make sure we got the number right, what's the cost to get into the fair?
$4.
And parking is?
Free.
Well, you heard it right. $4 at the Wayne County Fair, and parking is free, and there's a lot of it out here on the west side.
There is.
Jared, thanks for the update and enjoy the fair. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information on your beans to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Tuesday session mostly lower. Bean meal was a little higher, cotton was a little higher, but everything else in the red on Tuesday as we give you this market update here from the Wyandotte County Fair here all week long in the Louis Dreyfus Company, the LDC booth, talking about the new crush plant. Grain markets did little yesterday to get any upside potential. A little bit of time in positive territory on beans to start the day. December Paris milling wheat was unable to bounce off its contract low. September Paris milling wheat, which is about to expire, is quite cheap right now. And this underscores the wheat market's issue. It's clearing excess supplies at a time of very stagnant importer demand. Unfortunately, U.S. cash hard red winter wheat is not competitive to non-traditional buyers even at current prices. So the wheat market did nothing to support any kind of bounce yesterday, finishing down 3 to 5 in Chicago, down 4 to 7 cents in Kansas City, and even Minneapolis wheat was down about 2 to 4 cents overall. In other market news yesterday, well, the news was few and far between. The degree of USDA yield changes that come out on the supply and demand report Friday, they're likely to be lower, but the degree of changes will determine the intensity of supply pressure in mid-September onward as harvesting begins in earnest across the Central Plains and the Midwest. We're hearing that pod and ear counts are going to be record large. Much of the plains and western, northwestern Midwest have seen adequate rainfall throughout the month of August. The August rainfall was near to above average west of the Mississippi River. South Dakota and Oklahoma were abnormally wet. Will that be enough to carry some of these other places through, like we're hearing in Indiana and Ohio, hearing well below normal rainfall here over the past little bit and not seeing much more as we move forward? So those are the main talking points. Again, we could not get the market in gear to do anything yesterday, and we move into a midweek period with probably a little position squaring and not much else ahead of the Friday supply and demand report. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. We'll have the overnight figures after this.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals, your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
Stop on by our Red Barn during the Farm Science Review, September 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Come say hello to the Ohio AgNet and the Ohio Country Journal team.
Subscribe to Ohio's Country Journal for a chance to win one of 4 $250 gift cards.
And don't miss your chance to say hi to Dale Minyo. After more than 30 years on the air, he's retiring. Sign his guest book, play games, and enjoy fun giveaways.
Plus, free popcorn every day until 1 o'clock.
We'll see you at the corner of Corn and Market at the Red Barn at Farm Science Review.
Today's market is brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, September corn unchanged at 4.01 1/4 cent. December down a half at 4.19 1/4 cent. March down a half at 4.37. September beans unchanged at 10.11 1/2. November $10.28 1/2, down 2 3/4. January also down 2 3/4 at 10.47 3/4. September wheat unchanged at $5 3/4 cent. December down a penny at $5.19 1/4, and July new crop down a half at $5.58. Now in livestock, October cattle down $5.62 at $230.17. December down $6.40 at $231.17, and February down $2.87 at $232.35. The only plus in livestock was October hogs up 97 cents at $96.12. cattle. December down 30 cents at 87.85. In feeder cattle, 11.20 yesterday at midday. Things turned lower, and October feeder cattle closed down $9.25 at 349.92. November down $9.25 at 348.87, and January down the limit $9.25 at 343.40. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.